Hello everyone, welcome to the first video of Quant's Bootcamp by XAT. This is Priyasha and we will be talking about number systems. So I will be dividing this into the core topics. So the bootcamp, I don't want to make it a very long video because keeping in mind that it's a revision video and also most importantly, it's right few days before the exam. So I don't want to overburden you. I just want to tell you what is important and what are the things which you should revise few days before the examination. So keeping that in mind, number system is one such topic which many of you, like technically around 60% people leave this topic also. So if you go through this bootcamp video, you would be finding out some important things to focus on, with the help of which you would be able to secure a decent marks. Okay, so let's go and get started. The very first thing we'll be starting off with is the properties of numbers. So a quick catch up. Okay, so all the numbers which we count, we start our counting from 1, so 1 up to infinity will go and be called as natural numbers. But the moment we add a 0 to the natural numbers, we call it whole numbers. You must be thinking, why am I teaching you these school level things? Because school level grade 10 तक की मैथ्स ही पूछी जाती है. अगर आपको नहीं पता है तो ये मैं आपको reiterate करा दूं. Secondly, knowing these distinctions between whole numbers and natural numbers, किस तरह से ये हमें help करने वाले हैं? How is this going to be useful for us? So the place where it will be useful is the option elimination technique, everyone. Please remember that you would be given certain options which can be easily eliminated based on these theory. If you go and check some PYQ, I don't remember the year exactly, but the question was, which of the following natural numbers would be the answer? And in the options you had one option which was -2. Now all of us know that natural numbers do not include negative numbers, so already -2 ka khel khatam ho gaya. Similarly, one of the options was 0, so we easily eliminated two options on the basis of the definition of natural numbers, that is natural number starts with 1 and goes up to infinity. Also, it does not include any fractions and decimals in it, so there was one option which was 0.5. So that means out of 5 options, you actually eliminated 3 options on the basis of just definition. So can you understand how important it is to clear your foundation on your bare basics? Similarly, अगर आप whole numbers के साथ negative counterparts भी add कर दो, तो it will be called as integers. But remember that in integers also there is no space for fraction and decimals. वहीं अगर हम real numbers पर आ जाएं, so it is the place where we also include the rational numbers and irrational numbers. I just skipped over rational numbers. So rational numbers is a place where you also include the fractions. But then comes irrational numbers. Just to tell you the definition of irrational numbers, they are non-terminating and, remember I'm saying and not or, and non-repeating. So they do not repeat and they do not end also. The best example which can be given for irrational number is pi, and along with pi, any square root of a non-square number like root 3, root 5, root 7, like that. Now when we include the imaginary numbers which have an iota in it, that is a square root of negative numbers, okay, plus the real numbers, will be called as complex numbers altogether. Okay, there will be several situations where you will be asked to find out the prime number or check whether the given number is prime or not. तो prime number check करने का एक बहुत अच्छा तरीका है, that is, if you want to check whether n is a prime number or not, just check if n is divisible by any prime number less than or equals to the value of under root n. That means if I take a simple example of 27, we all know that 27 comes in the table of other numbers like 3 and 9. So definitely it's a composite number, not a prime number. But if you want to check this, we can try to find out the square root of 27. So we know that the closest square is 25 and that is for 5. So definitely the square root will be 5 point something something. So what you need to do is you need to check the divisibility of 27 by 1, 2, 3, 4 or 5, or rather you can only check it by prime numbers like 2, 3 and 5. If this number is not divisible by 2, 3 and 5, then this number is a prime number, but if it is, like in our case, it is divisible by 3, so therefore 27 is not a prime number, it is a composite number. तो इस तरह से आप किसी भी number की prime है या composite है, ये value check कर सकते हो. This is very important. Now coming down to divisibility rule, this table will help you to know the divisibility rule of all the major numbers and all the numbers which come after this. Do not worry for that. क्यों आपको worry नहीं करना है? क्योंकि you have to go and find out the co-prime pair of that number. Take an example of 12 and take an example of 6. If you see, you understand that for finding out the divisibility rule of 6, you are taking a co-prime pair of 6, which is 2 and 3, and a number which is divisible by 2 as well as divisible by 3 will be divisible by 6 also. Similarly, for 12, you need to check a co-prime pair like 3 and 4, and if a number is divisible by 3 as well as by 4, then the number is divisible by 12 also. एक और फैक्टर है जो आपको याद रखना चाहिए कि if a number is divisible by 12, it will be divisible by all the factors of 12. Now, how can this question help? Again, the same very old thing, that is option elimination. ऐसी छोटी छोटी चीजें आपको ऑप्शन एलिमिनेट करने में बहुत हेल्प करती हैं, एंड फॉर द फोक्स हु आर लर्निंग इट फॉर द फर्स्ट टाइम, डोंट वरी, यू आर स्टिल इन अ गुड प्लेस, बिकॉज आपको एक एजुकेटेड गेस लेने में ये सारे पॉइंटर्स हेल्प करने वाले हैं. So instead of just doing inky pinky ponky and ticking an answer in the examination, since you're only few days before the exam, you can actually use these tricks and at least eliminate 2 or 3 options if you are lucky enough, and take an educated guess. The probability of getting that right will be definitely more than the probability of messing up with just doing an inky pinky ponky. I'm not reading out the rules here, okay? बस कुछ रूल स्पेशल हैं जैसे कि 7 और 11 के, जो मैं आपको क्विकली रीआइटरेट कर देती हूँ. Even though it's completely your choice, if you feel that your division speed is better than the speed of applying this trick, then please go ahead and try the division. Remember, no calculator is allowed in the XAT examination, so you have to do all the calculations with your own hand, okay, or using approximation. So 7th rule is that if I take a number, let's say 1470, ये तो मैंने बिल्कुल basic सा number लिया है, the number which is divisible by 7, but then the rule is that you take the last digit, double it, and whatever comes in, subtract it from this digit. Whatever is left out, if you know that this number is falling in the table of 7, you can stop at that very moment. But if you don't know, you can still continue your division. You double it, take out the number and subtract it from the remaining number. So if you get a 0 or any multiple of 7, then the number which you took or you started with earlier would be divisible by 7. अगर यहीं पर आपको 0 और 7 या कि किसी मल्टीपल की जगह कोई भी और नंबर आता है जैसे 1, 2, 7 या negative number which is not a multiple of 7, then that number will not be divisible by 7. Similarly, for the rule of 11, the speciality for the rule of 11 is that you have to take all the numbers which are present in the even positions, add them up, and take all the numbers in the odd position and add them up, and उन दोनों का difference अगर 0 या 11 का कोई भी multiple आता है, then you get the entire number to be divisible by 11. Let's take a simple answer like 1331. If you add 1 and 3, you get 4. If you add 3 and 1, you get 4, and when you subtract them, you get 0. So that means 1331 is divisible by 11. You can try it with any long numbers also. Now, coming back to the divisibility rule of 3 and 9. Divisibility rule of 3 and 9 are quite similar because they talk about adding up the digits and checking whether the sum of the digit falls in the table of 9 or 3 or not. But this rule can also help you to find out what will be the remainder if a particular number is divided by that number. This rule is only applicable for 3 and 9. तो अगर आपको कोई ये पूछे कि एक बड़े से नंबर को 9 से डिवाइड करने पर क्या रिमाइंडर बचता है, so instead of actually dividing the number, you can actually add up the sum of the digits like we added here for 3, 4, 6, 8, 9, and whatever sum which you got, you need to divide it by 9. When you divide 30 by 9, that gives you a remainder of 3, and so will be the case when you divide the actual long number by 9 also. That will give you a remainder of 3 only. So this not only helps you to check the divisibility rule, but also helps you to get the remainder, but this is only applicable in the field of 3 and 9. ये सारी चीजें मुझे जो स्पेशल लगी थी ना गाइज, मैंने वो अपने नोट्स में रखा था एंड वही मैं आपके साथ शेयर कर रही हूँ. ये कुछ ऐसी छोटी मोटी चीजें हैं जो आपको ऑप्शन एलिमिनेशन करने में हेल्प करेंगी, एजुकेटेड गेस लगाने में हेल्प करेंगी, एंड मोस्ट इम्पॉर्टेंटली फास्टर क्वेश्चंस को फास्टर करने में हेल्प करेगी, क्योंकि ऐसे बहुत सारे क्वेश्चंस होंगे जो लेंदी होंगे. So you have to save time from certain questions and put it on to the others. So let's talk about an interesting fact now. आई एम नॉट श्योर हाउ मेनी ऑफ यू ऑलरेडी नो दिस, बट ये कुछ ऐसी टेक्निक्स एंड ट्रिक्स हैं जो कि आपको उन क्वेश्चंस में काफी हेल्प करने वाली हैं जो काफी डायरेक्ट आते हैं। जैट के कन्वीनर सर को भी पता है कि कौन से क्वेश्चंस जनरली लोग टेंडेंसी है जिसकी छोड़ देने की है ना, लोगों की छोड़ देने की टेंडेंसी ज्यादा होती है उन क्वेश्चंस को, तो वो जनरली वैसे कैटेगरी के क्वेश्चंस को काफी डायरेक्ट रखते हैं। जानते हैं कि अराउंड 50% पीपल तो इसे टच ही नहीं करेंगे एंड जो बाकी 50% टच करने की हिम्मत करेंगे वो 20% गलत कर देंगे। तो हम काफी लोगों को फिल्टर कर सकते हैं इस क्वेश्चन की हेल्प से। सो व्हेन दिस इज द सिनेरियो, I want you people to really focus on this and at least know the formula कि अगर किस्मत साथ देती है और ऐसा क्वेश्चन डायरेक्ट आता है तो you can easily secure 1 mark for yourself. So let's talk about number of factors and sum of factors everyone. Now factorization, नॉर्मल फैक्टराइजेशन आए या ना आए बट प्राइम फैक्टराइजेशन सीखना बहुत जरूरी है क्योंकि प्राइम फैक्टराइजेशन एक ऐसी टेक्निक है which can help you get the answers for multiple scenarios or multiple types of questions under number system. It's actually seen that the folks who are good at prime factorization can do any type of question under number system also. Let's have a quick look what I'm trying to talk about. Here I'm trying to talk about how to find out the number of factors or the sum of the factors. एक basic example के help से समझते हैं. So I have taken the example of 70 over here. Now if I do the prime factorization of 70, the way we should do it is like this, divided by the prime factors you know. The next prime factor I think will divide it by 7 and here you go. So all the prime factors are having a power of 1, 1, 1 only. Now, what is the meaning of number of factors? Number of factors basically है कि 70 को किस तरह से तोड़ा जा सकता है. We can write 70 as 1 into 70, 2 into 35, 5 into 14 and 7 into 10. That means altogether I have 8 factors, right? बट इस तरह से मैन्युअली कैलकुलेट करना कई बार काफी ज्यादा हेक्टिक एंड लेंदी होता है. सो द शॉर्टकट फॉर्मूला व्हिच वी हैव फॉर कैलकुलेटिंग द नंबर ऑफ फैक्टर्स इज first do the prime factorization, write it in this format where you write the prime factors at the bottom and their powers at the top. Whatever are the powers are considered to be as m, n, p in this formula, and what you need to do to calculate the number of factors is to add 1 to every power and multiply all the power. I added 1 to every power and multiplied them among themselves. That means if I add 1 plus 1 into 1 plus 1 into 1 plus 1, then I actually got 2 into 2 into 2, which is 2 cube, none other than my answer, which is 8. So you see this? This is applicable for all the numbers, guys. You can try it on your own with some other numbers so that ये रूल और ये फॉर्मूला आपको अच्छे से याद रहे. उसी तरह से प्राइम फैक्टराइजेशन कैन आल्सो हेल्प यू टू फाइंड आउट द सम ऑफ द फैक्टर्स. सो इमेजिन यू विश टू ऐड अप ऑल दीज factors. Okay, you wish to add all these factors up, you get a number. This is again very long if you do it manually, but then we again have a formula to this, and this formula says that you take the basic number, like for us the basic numbers a, b, c are the powers of 2, 5 and 7. What they are asking you is to raise them to the power which they have existing plus 1. So the current existing power on 2 is 1, 1, 1, जिसको आपको plus 1 करना है. So it becomes 2 to the power 2, 5 to the power 2 and 7 to the power 2. Once you raise it to the power of 1 plus then its original power, you need to subtract the entire value by 1. Minus 1, minus 1. आपने एक बार ये कर लिया तो सारे particular numbers के denominator पर आपको the base value minus 1 से divide करना है. So basically if I do 4 minus 1, I get 3 and 3 divided by 1 would be 3. 5 square is 25, minus 1 24, divided by 4 will be giving me a 6, and this multiplied with 7 square 49, minus 1 48, divided by 6, which is gonna be 8. So if I multiply all these numbers, I would be getting in my answer, which will be 18 into 8, 144. So this is yet another process by which you can calculate the sum of all the factors. और ऐसे direct questions आप कई बार PYQs में देख पाओगे. You can go and check it yourself. Now I'll quickly move down to the other formula which is important for you people to know. There is also a technique to represent a particular number as a product of two factors which are prime to each other. Again, the formula is same. You do the prime factorization, find out the number of different prime factors it has, raise the power of 2 to that number minus 1. जैसे कि 540 की एग्जाम्पल अगर हम लेते हैं, so if you prime factorize 540, we will realize that the number of different prime factors we get is 3. You can try this on your own by doing it. The number of different prime numbers you see on the left hand side of this would be 3. That is 2, 3 and 5. 2 raised to the power 2, 3 raised to the power 3 and into 5. But इस value को हम use कर सकते हैं by directly taking 2 raised to the power m, which is 3 for us, minus 1, that is 2. So 2 raised to the power 2 will be 4. That means there are 4 different ways in which I can represent the number 540 as 2 factors which are prime to each other. What is the manual way of doing it? 4 into 27. Here I have written it down. So we can directly not write 4 into 27 because that will not give me a 540. 5 into 4 together is 20. So 20 into 27 is one way. Okay. 108 into 5 is another way. 4 into 135 is another way. And 540 into 1 is another way. Please focus that all the numbers which I am taking are co-prime to each other. Co-prime का क्या मतलब होता है कि उनका HCF होता है 1. Okay, these are some छोटे-छोटे definitions which will help you a lot in revising your number system. And I trust me guys, अगर आपका number system आप ये भी देख कर जाते हो ना, तो आप बहुत आसानी से ऑप्शंस एलिमिनेट करके एक एजुकेटेड गेस तो जरूरी लगा पाओगे अगर साल भर भी पढ़ाई नहीं की है तो नंबर सिस्टम पे. Coming to the notes, to find the number of such pairs, okay, there is a shortcut. That is A into B is equals to N. Now, if someone comes up with the question that for the numbers with odd number of factors, how would you calculate that? तो पहले आप total number of pairs निकालोगे, उस पे +1 करके divided by 2 कर दोगे, तो वो आपको क्या दे देगा? Odd number of factors. And if you directly divide it by 2, it will give you the even number of factors. So if at all you get a question like this, you have a further shortcut to get the answer. All right, finally moving down to the world of indices and surds, where surds are like, मैं surds को differently नहीं लूंगी because अगर आपकी indices clear हैं तो आपका surds भी प्यार से हो जाएगा. But the first thing you need to keep in mind is some major properties related to the square number. Square numbers किससे कभी end नहीं हो सकता, किससे आता है, just give it a quick read. It cannot end with an odd number of zeros. So at the end you cannot have a single zero and say that this number is a square number. It's not possible. What you need is even number of zeros. Okay, similarly 5000 is also never a square number because it has odd number of zeros. So ये बहुत easily आपको options eliminate करने में help करेगा, and it will not only help you in the QA questions but will surely help you in the DI questions as well. तो DI के लिए भी आपको बहुत strongly prepare कर रहे हैं ये points. Also a square number cannot end in 2, 3, 7, 8. A square number of an odd number is always odd and an even number is always even. क्योंकि ये बात तो understood है. Next, square number of a multiple of 3 or exceeds a multiple of 3 by unity. Every square number is either a multiple of 3 or it exceeds it by unity. So if you take any example, take 49. We know that 9 plus 4 is 13 and is definitely not falling in the table of 3. But then we know that the closest number which falls in the table of 3 is 48. So therefore it exceeds only by 1. तो जितने भी स्क्वायर नंबर्स होते हैं वो या तो 3 के मल्टीपल होते हैं या 3n plus 1 के फॉर्म में होते हैं. तो अगर आपने क्वेश्चंस को कभी अच्छे से सॉल्व किया होगा तो आपने देखा होगा कि इस तरह के क्वेश्चंस भी आपको कई बार आते हैं कि इफ दिस इज अ प्राइम नंबर, हाउ कैन इट बी रिप्रेजेंटेड इन द फॉलोइंग फॉर्मेट. इफ इट इज अ स्क्वायर नंबर, इट कैन बी रिप्रेजेंटेड इन दिस फॉर्मेट. सिमिलरली एवरी स्क्वायर नंबर इज अ मल्टीपल ऑफ 4 और एक्सीड्स 4 बाय यूनिटी. ये रूल भी इस पे एप्लीकेबल है ना. If a square number ends in 9, then the preceding digit is always even. Take the example of 49. 4 is always even. If you can think of any other square number which ends in a 9, then quickly tell me whether you got an even number or odd number in the comment section. इससे मुझे आपकी attentiveness पता चलेगी. Let's go down. Shortcut methods of calculation. So ये काफी useful है. सबसे ज्यादा यूजफुल कहाँ है बताती हूँ. जितने भी टेबल बेस्ड डेटा है ना, मेरी बात लिख के ले लो, ये सारे रूल्स आपको टेबल बेस्ड डेटा को खत्म करने में इतने अच्छे से हेल्प करेंगे कि आप मुझे याद करोगे. ओके, सो सपोज इफ द नंबर इज एंडिंग इन 5, देन हाउ टू फाइंड आउट इट्स स्क्वायर. बहुत सिंपल सा टेक्निक है. लास्ट नंबर को हटाइए, उससे पहले जो भी वैल्यू आपको मिल रही है दैट इज द प्लेस of tens. Okay, multiply the number of tens by the next higher number and then add 25 at the end. जैसे कि हमने 10 को ले लिया तो हमने 10 को उसके next succeeding number से multiply कर दिया, so that is 11 into 10, 110, and उसके बाद 25 लगा दिया. These are some shortcut tricks which will help you a lot in finding out the questions like percentage increase and all that stuff. Squares of the number ending in 25. So if the number itself is ending in 25, let's take, okay, this number 625, then they are saying what you are supposed to do, multiply the number of hundreds by a number consisting of the number of hundreds with a 5 to its right. Okay, so you can take these things, okay, and use the technique. It will really help you to get the answer faster. But यहाँ पर एक disclaimer देना चाहूंगी, जिन्होंने ये सारे rules पहले कभी try नहीं किए थे, आप इन रूल्स को स्किप कर सकते हो, बिकॉज लर्निंग दिस रूल विल ऑल्सो नीड सम अमाउंट ऑफ एनर्जी, है ना. आपको भी दिमाग पर जोर डालकर इन प्रोसेसेस को याद करना पड़ेगा, जैसे वैदिक मैथमेटिक्स में करना पड़ता है. तो वैदिक मैथमेटिक्स और इस तरह के शॉर्टकट ट्रिक्स में सिर्फ उन्हीं लोगों को सजेस्ट करूंगी जिन्होंने पहले इसे ट्राई किया हुआ है. सिंस यू आर वेरी फ्यू डेज बिफोर द एग्जामिनेशन, डू नॉट ट्राई आउट दीज ट्रिक्स. बट कुछ चीजें तो बहुत प्यारी हैं, जैसे कि कभी अगर आपको किसी भी फ्रैक्शन की स्क्वायर निकालने बोली जाए तो जस्ट टेक एंड डू दिस 6 + 1 मोर एंड देन स्क्वायर ऑफ द फ्रैक्शन पार्ट. सिंपल. ये बहुत प्यारी प्यारी टेक्निक्स हैं. आपको जिधर भी टेबल्स में दिखेंगे ना कि परसेंटेज की जगह फ्रैक्शंस में वैल्यू दी हुई है, this will help you a lot. Okay, similarly this is a quick screenshot taking place where you people can quickly take a screenshot whenever we are finding out the square of 999. Okay, so जितने भी number of nines हैं उनको follow कीजिए. Take a quick screenshot. I will not reiterate because मैं कुछ नया add नहीं करूंगी. जो भी स्क्रीन पर लिखा है मैं उसको ही रेप्लिकेट करूंगी. The beauty is this, 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 this and this. Okay, तो इस चीज को अगर आप एक बार ध्यान से देख लो तो बड़ा मजा आएगा. नेक्स्ट इज आर्मस्ट्रॉन्ग नंबर्स. ये जानना जरूरी है. तो व्हाट आर आर्मस्ट्रॉन्ग नंबर्स? सो दिस आर द क्यूब्स ऑफ द डिजिट्स दैट फॉर्म देम, add up to give the number itself. For example, if I take 153, which is one of the first Armstrong numbers we come across, if I take the cube of all the digits 1, 5 and 3, I end up into 153 when I add the cubes, and that is called as an Armstrong number. Just remember the first four Armstrong number: 153, 370, 371 and 407. बस इतना काफी है आपके लिए. अब आते हैं इंडाइसेस पे, which will really help you a lot. ये स्क्रीनशॉट मैंने इंस्टाग्राम और यूट्यूब की कम्युनिटी पोस्ट दोनों में अपलोड कर दिया था. सो आई होप यू पीपल हैव सीन दिस. रूल्स काफी सिंपल है. व्हेन द बेस इज सेम, आई रिपीट, आई जस्ट जूम इन. व्हेन द बेस इज सेम, the powers are added. When the base is same, okay, and we are keeping a power over another power, the power is multiplied. When we are dividing, keeping the base same, the power is subtracted. Okay, that's all. इतना ही कर लो तो आपको बहुत समझ में आ जाएगा बात. एक चीज मेरी तरफ से एडिशनल है जो आप लोग यहाँ पर नोट करोगे, सो प्लीज मेक अ नोट ऑफ इट. ये आपको डेटा में नहीं मिलेगा. यू टेक अ नंबर, let's say I take 8 and I pull it up to 2 to the power 3. Now how to solve 8 raised to the power 2 by 3? सबसे पहले आप इसको डिवाइड कर लो एंड पहले आप इसको डिनोमिनेटर से सॉल्व कर लो. So if I say that 8 raised to the power 1 by 3, I actually want you to find out the cube root of 8. That means which number multiplied with itself 3 times gives you 8, and the answer is 2. So therefore this value will come out to be as 2. Once you get the cube root value or the value of the denominator of the fraction, then raise the answer to the numerator, that is 2. So the answer is back to 4. Okay, so if you understood this method, the same thing is applicable in the case when I say, let me think of 16 raised to the power 1.5. Okay, what will we do in the case of 16 raised to the power 1.5? 1.5 is actually equals to 3 by 2 in fractions. So this is none other than the same question, 16 raised to the power 3 by 2. जिसमें आप पहले 16 raised to the power 1 by 2 करोगे and whatever answer you got would be raised to the power of 3. I need the answers in the comment section. Again, an attendance check to check your attentivity in this Quant Bootcamp. Okay, moving next. If any number is raised to the power of negative, let's say 3 raised to the power minus 2, then इसका मतलब है कि आप आराम से 3 raised to the power 2 करो और जो भी आंसर आया उसको रेसिप्रोकेट कर दो. That is 1 by 3 raised to the power 2. The answer will be 1 by 9. Simple. बस इतने ही रूल्स हैं जो आपको पता होने चाहिए। और कुछ छोटे मोटे रूल्स हैं जैसे कि डिस्ट्रीब्यूशन हो जाता है पावर का इक्वली इनसाइड द नंबर्स, एंड इफ यू आर हैविंग that the two bases are same and the powers are not same, so there we get the value कि ऐसा हो ही नहीं सकता. If the bases are same and they are equal, the powers are also same. Okay, all right, so with this we come to the end of the first part where we have taken a full overall cover up on number system, and I can really tell you कि आप इस सब जब ये सारी चीजें रिवाइज करके जाओगे तो नंबर सिस्टम तो प्यार से हो जाएगा. ठीक है, प्यार से, एटलीस्ट इट्स ऑलवेज बेटर देन नथिंग, है ना. तो अभी तक आप एकदम ब्लैंक थे नंबर सिस्टम के लिए, एटलीस्ट ये बूट कैम्प देखकर आप नंबर सिस्टम के क्वेश्चंस को छू तो सकते हो. ओके, एंड विद दिस आई वुड आस्क यू पीपल टू वेट फॉर अनदर वीडियो. सारे रिलीज हो जाएंगे जल्दी 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 करके, एंड जस्ट कमेंट बिलो एंड लेट मी नो हाउ वाज इट, एंड डोंट फॉरगेट टू लाइक द सेशन गाइस. बहुत मेहनत लगती है, लाइक लिटरली बहुत मेहनत लगती है. So please make sure you comment below and do like the video as well for sure. If you're new to the channel, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and grow this XAT family by sharing it with more and more people, guys. See you, take care, and just wait few more hours, I would say, for the next video. See you back, and all the very best.